Butka with us here at the John Mendola Show. Whew, it's over. One of the best in the nation. That was your goal. I mean, we've been talking since back in the high school days. It seems like I've known you forever. Number one in your class at West Scranton. Always academics, good family, totally into athletics. Your family, your sister, and you go to Wilkes with a goal. Hey, this is what I want to do, and you pretty much did everything you wanted to do, right? I mean, you're living a great life. Talk a little bit about this season, how special it was for you getting on that national stage.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this season, I had a couple goals in mind. I wanted to break two of the school records. One I was pretty much certain that I was going to break, which was like a total win record, because I was on pace to do that anyway. If I just had even an okay season, and by my standards, I would have been able to achieve that. But I also achieved the single season win record. I beat it by one, so I got 42 wins in a single season, which broke the record of 41, so that was pretty nice. My other goal was to be a national champ. Obviously I came one spot short, but I really wouldn't change a thing. I had the most successful wrestling season of my entire life, and I worked so hard to attain everything that I've done, and yeah, I mean, I'm really, really proud of myself.
The hard work that nobody sees you put in. You look like that All-American kid, but the academic work and the regimen, and you're just kind of grinding. And then on top of that, the athletic work and grinding probably a couple times a day. Talk a little bit about just that drive that you have, and obviously it came from some good parents there, and building on some of the coaching there and the tradition at West Scranton as well.
Yeah, definitely. I always had that mindset, like hard work pays off, especially in high school. But like when I got to Wilkes, I feel like it really grew into something even more, more than I ever thought it would get into. So like it was just this mindset of I could always do better. I just wanted to see how far I could push myself. It kind of started off as like comparing myself to others and seeing if I could catch up to other people, and then eventually just got to the point instead of I stopped comparing myself to others, and I just like wanted to see how good I can do, how hard can I push myself, how far can I go, and I kind of just lived with that mentality all 4 years at Wilkes, and it really was like very beneficial for my development as a character, or as a person, as a wrestler, and just as a student in general.
You checked all the boxes with Wilkes. That major's not easy to find. Talk a little bit about your major, what you're going to do going forward, where you're going to be, and what you're going to do with that whole major thing.
Yeah, so I was a biochemistry major. I loved every single second that I spent in the classroom here. I loved all my classes. I really feel like I developed a really good passion for science in general. Next steps, as far as schooling goes, I'm going to go to the University of Pittsburgh to get my chemistry PhD. That should take anywhere from like 4 to 6 years, so I still have a lot of time left in school, but I'm really excited. I kind of get to focus more on my career now than to be a student athlete. Obviously, I'm sad that I'm going to leave wrestling behind, but I'm going to try and come back to Wilkes as much as I possibly can and help out. So I'm hoping to keep wrestling as a staple in my life. Obviously, it will be forever, but I'm trying not to stray too far from it.
You talk about your family and their passion, their love, everything. I mean, I'm sure you pinch yourself, say, boy, I'm a lucky guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was talking with both my parents about this not too long ago. I don't think either of them have missed a single wrestling match. At least, I know in high school they probably never have, but in college, like they've been to every single match, every single tournament. My dad was reffing at some of the tournaments and matches that I was at, but they have been to every single time. Like every single time I competed, they were there. They have been supporting me my whole life. I would not be able to have done this without them. Even like my brother and sister are huge supporters. My girlfriend's been a huge influence in my wrestling career. It's really just all their love, dedication, and passion for me has helped me develop my wrestling into something that I never thought it could be.
A guy who probably won't take any credit, but probably deserves some, is Coach Laudenschlager. He's just a steady guy, says a lot of the right things, not gonna get in your face, but he's gonna find a way to make sure that you reach your goals. Talk a little bit about your relationship with him and what he means to you.
Yeah, so obviously our relationship has changed a lot, especially since coming in my freshman year. It was kind of like I liked Coach coming in, but my impression of him was more of like this authoritative figure, and like kind of just like I wasn't necessarily scared of Coach, but like it was like I really respected him. Not that I don't respect him now, but it's different when you're young and you don't know your coach all that well. It was kind of more as I just started to do better and better and push myself harder and harder. Slaughter became more like almost like a family member to me, like someone I could confide myself in, someone that I could go and talk to about whatever. He's been super helpful with everything here, and honestly, I don't think I would have done nearly as well if it wasn't for him. Even my other coaches here, Coach Kyle, Coach Pinkiel, who started up this year, other people, Josh Evans, Colton Babcock, all of our coaching staff have been super helpful, and I really do attribute all of their hard work and dedication to Wilkes Wrestling is what pushed me to the level that I'm at now.
You got a couple guys over there, Caleb and Chris, that are great guys, and guys kind of grinded. Coach like, man, losing all three, that's going to be a shot in the arm here to our program. But talk about pushing each other and the expectations and the hey, we're in this together. We're all bring uniqueness to the program.
Yeah, I mean, losing all of our seniors this year is going to be a really big loss for our team, especially like me, Caleb, and Chris were like the last 3 matches of our lineup every single year. So like that's going to be really hard to fill in those spots, but I'm really confident that our team will be okay and that we'll have guys step up, fill in the gaps, and we have a pretty good recruiting this year as far as I'm concerned. But our lineup will be fine. We have a lot of leaders that are going to step up next year. I'm very certain of it. I have more than a handful of guys that I know will step up. So as far as our program is concerned, Wilkes Wrestling will still be ready to compete and ready to wrestle, but I'm going to miss my guys a lot. I'm 100% certain on that.
You talk about Caleb, Coach said, hey, 2 different guys, but talk about the connection that you could have with somebody that is a little bit different, but he's a hard-nosed guy.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's a great person to be around. Honestly, like one of the most like lovable, funny guys ever. Our personalities are way different, but wrestling is kind of that like uniting force for the both of us. We both have a really good passion for this sport, and wrestling is just having that thing in common, like that sport, that drive, that passion in common with someone else's like immediate connection, regardless of how different your personalities are. It's just really something magical.
Chris, the academic part, incredible job that he did in the classroom, that passion that he has to be the best as well. Talk a little bit about just being impressed with, hey, here's another guy who takes this very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has been my roommate the past 2 years. He's a great guy. He's a nursing major, which is a very difficult major. It's really hard to fit in, especially with like all the clinical hours and stuff. So a lot of credit to him for managing to keep wrestling in a part of his schedule the past 4 years. He's worked his butt off to be where he's at now, and he's excelling in his classes, which is really difficult, especially in nursing. So a lot of props to him. He works super hard. He got kind of banged up this season. Obviously, it's kind of hard to deal with, but he stuck through, finished out pretty well. And yeah, I'm really proud of him, and I'm proud that he's my friend.
The way that things work out, it's there's the NIL and people, you got family members, hey, you got to go Division I, or hey, we don't have that much money in our family, get to a Division II where it'll be more affordable. And then there's the right fit and Wilkes and, hey, you're going to owe some money. There's no doubt from loans, and there is no quote unquote athletic money, but there's academic money. Just talk a little bit about, some freshmen out there, some sophomores, juniors, and high schools about, trying to make sure they find that right fit. And sometimes it's not about what they think it's about. It's about, hey, they had the right major, the coach checked the box, I love the wrestling program, and I get to be potentially on that national stage. A little recruiting here for people for Wilkes.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was like not really sure how it worked when I was being recruited, especially like COVID and everything. That was like my year. That was crazy. But I wasn't really sure. I knew the only thing that was different about divisions is everyone talks about how like D2 and D3 are better than, or D2 and D1 are better than D3, and just like based on skill level and stuff. And like you can get athletic scholarships at D2 and D1 level. But in my opinion, I think the D3 competition, every aspect about D3 is awesome. And I honestly, if I had the choice to go back and the ability to choose through any of the divisions, I would probably still stay D3. It's like this great work-life balance between wrestling and your major. It's more like when I feel like if you were to do a D2 or D1 program, obviously I'm not qualified to talk about that, but I feel like that's more like keeping your reputation as an athlete and making sure you keep that scholarship money. That's something that's always going to be weighing over your head, whereas in the D3 level, it's a lot more on your own pace. Obviously, like, I had a great career at Wilkes, and I loved being a part of D3 wrestling. One thing that's great about D3 wrestling too is there's a lot of D3 programs, so you're guaranteed to have a lot of matches even if you're not a starter. Like a lot of the tournaments that we wrestled in were multiple entries per weight class, so I know like every single year, every guy on our team has at least a couple tournaments, a couple matches under their belts. I say on average, guys get at least 15 to 20 matches per year, even if you're not starting, which is an amazing thing to say, because like being on a lot of just any team in general, you're not guaranteed to start, like guaranteed to play. But at Wilkes, for certain, Coach Laudenslager does a really good job of making sure everybody gets some mat time, which is awesome. Because being on a part of a team, like wrestling is a really hard sport. It's really hard on your body, really hard on your mind. And if you weren't able to even just go and test yourself and be on that mat in the first place, I don't know how many guys would stick with it. But that's one thing that's really good about D3. You get a lot of opportunities to compete regardless if you start or not. And it's just honestly, I think D3 is great. I think the competition's great. Like Wilkes' schedule has changed a lot over the 4 years that I've been here. And especially like the last 2 years, Slaughter's put us in some really, really good tournaments and some really good exposure. And I think the competition at D3 is great, especially since you could see so many different types of guys, so many different types of wrestling, because D3, there's so many D3 teams. So if you're considering looking at different divisions, kind of weigh your options. I think D3 is a perfectly fine choice. I loved it every single second, and if I had to go back, I would honestly do D3 again.
Yeah, always humble, raised so well, and you're always one of my favorite stories because academics, you're number one, always took it so seriously, and athletics, you took it seriously at West Scranton and here at Wilkes. And great to be along for the ride, just to see you every couple of years and see what you're doing. Congratulations on a fantastic career.
Thank you.